And right after talking about the psychological effect of election violence on individuals, we'll be taking on a student now, or an ex-student now, of one of the universities in Nigeria, who will be telling us more, who will be, I think, more practical is what I should describe it, more practical, because he is among the youth, he understands the mindset of the youth, he knows why youths are actually, should I say, gullible to these politicians, and they get to just get them easily to use for the violent acts during elections. So this evening we have with us in the studio
comrades Hussein Momodu, because it took time to remind me that he's a comrade. So welcome, comrades.
You're welcome.
Nice having you in the studio.
Thank
you so much. Thank you so much.
Luckily you were in the studio. You had the first guest who took time to explain what violence means, and then he took time also to explain some of the positive agents of somebody going into violence. Now you're a youth, and why is it that anytime politicians come around, they need people to do some dirty jobs for them?
They grab the youths.
Why is it that youths are always available for these dirty jobs?
Of course, we have been saying it long before now, that the society that we find ourselves today makes this possible.
How?
Of course, for instance, every year we have thousands of graduates or millions of graduates be churned out from the various universities in the country. And so many of those people, they go into the mandatory NYSC service, they came back, expected job, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, sitting at home without no job. Now, somebody who has been trained, who perhaps parents have spent so much on him or her to be trained in the university or in the polytechnic, only for such person to be graduated and come back to the house. So the person begins to ask himself some questions. What kind of life is this I'm living? How do I survive? Because one of the greatest problems that anybody, particularly the youth, will be facing is when you have the problem of what to eat. Because, for instance, when the problem of what to eat becomes a problem to a man, such a man will automatically be gullible to whatever
lose all sense of reason,
whatever
right?
thing that is being brought to his table.
But where is the place of values?
Or integrity?
Well, when you talk about values and integrity, that is a different thing entirely.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fine. Let me tell you why it becomes different. For example, when somebody begins to look for what to eat, because we are now talking about violence, and don't forget why people go into violence, most especially to the political class, the politicians, they are more or less not that gullible to the politician, but most time trying to look for a way to survive themselves.
Okay,
so,
let me tell you, so where is the place of education they went to school in the first instance?
Fine.
You went to school, you learn it, some values are impacted in you.
Yes.
And now you're out of school, and some people now come and tell you to look the other way. It doesn't go together.
Yes, that is, I want to say that it is not a generic view, because we have some people that still have such values. For instance, just last year, 2014, we had some of when the politicians were coming to start talking to some of the youth or what to do for them during the 2015 election, there were some of us that were of the view that whatever the politicians are coming to do, we must be mindful of our names. For instance, like myself, Hussein Momodu, a fresh graduate from the Lagos State Universities, we have had perhaps a council with different politicians talking about so many of those things. So people like me and some of my colleagues have this known to them that these values and integrity must be kept. Now, by the time somebody invites me to create chaos or to commit violence or to be part of violence, I will eventually tell that person, look, I am not going to be part of that because I believe my name is going to be at stake.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you think Nigerian youths are angry with government?
Very, very well.
Okay. So is that why they are easily given to perpetrate violent acts?
Yes.
Okay.
For instance, by the time people, the youth generally in the country are totally angry with the governments because the politicians, we are focusing on the politicians because here we are talking about the youth and politics as regard the state of the nation, for instance. Now, by the time the youth are expecting the political class, who are the ruling class, to make some certain policies that will benefit or profit them, and at the end of the day, those things are not coming the way they expect. So the next thing such person does is to go into violence. Most of the times, some of the students or some of the youth that politicians use it for those kind of heinous activities are doing it as a part-time basis.
Are you saying it is right?
It's like you're sounding like
yeah. Are you saying it is right for them to go into politics because they are unemployed, because the parents invested so much in them, they went to school, they're not?
You're sounding like you're in support of the youth going into violence.
Yes.
I can never be a support or a supporter of that because I'm a realist. And don't forget that. And when realists are talking, they speak from the realistic perspective, different from the idealist.
Justifying why people should go into violence?
Yes, for instance.
Justifying why they should?
No, we are not justifying why students or youth going into violence. But what we are saying here in this respect is that one of the things that the government need to do, the ruling class, is what they have not done. For example, the 2015 election is just by the corner, and we have had the youth going with all the campaign trains.
So we'll have a call. Let's pick this call. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
hello,
good evening.
good evening.
Okay. All right, please go ahead.
I want to ask a question.
Please do.
My question is this. I want to ask this moderator. Do you think that the violence can solve the problem of the youth? If the politicians fail the promise they gave to them. So that is my question to you.
All right, thank you very much. Did you hear that?
Yes, that
Do you think violence can solve the problem?
Violence can never solve the problem. Now, at this time, why people go into violence, we also need to know that, and we should also know different kind of violence in the society.
No, we don't want to go into that.
Fine.
What we're saying is that we all know the effect of violence.
Yes.
Our first guys just took time to explain that,
Yeah.
and we know the import of that. Now, what we're saying is that why are youth disposed to doing this? I think you shouldn't be encouraging that, because you are sounding as if you're encouraging youth to go ahead because they're unemployed, because they're
the youth, for instance,
Hello.
as of today.
We have a caller.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Who's speaking? All right, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the president.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my own opinion, young man security is just full mind of the people. He may not have the intention of, kind of educated people, used to come around, to be forced or to be employed to
Violence.
Violence. But it is true that what you think there is the youth, the rich people use the youth to achieve their aims. Which is what we are doing every day now and then. But just the only thing I would just want the young man here to do is to talk to the people, not to allow them to be used, no matter what.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right, so you even mingle so much with other youths. Like, how much do they actually offer them?
Well, I can't say, but what I know very well, because in my school days, I just graduated recently from the Lagos State University. In my school days, the politicians are used to coming into the campus, asking people to go out with them, campaigning, and of course, in the school, there are people...
We have another call. Sorry, let's take this call. Hello?
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 We lost the call.
All right.
So, for instance, in the school, the politicians comes in. So when they came, they start asking the students, what do you want? And like I said earlier, most of the people or most of the youth that the politicians are using are only using it.
Sorry. Hello?
Hello.
Good evening. Good afternoon, sir. Who's speaking?
This is Misha. Misha, Dominic, calling from the Kenya constituency.
All right, Misha. Please go ahead.
I look at continue my brother.
Victoria Sata.
Please, the government should do something for the youth. It's not our own making or our own decision to evaluate or to involve in violent activity. A lot of the youth have something to offer, but there is no enabling environment for them to showcase their talent. And the government who are in question to be able to put it in order, they kept on enriching themselves with our own government, our countries and treasuries, which is not really telling well about the youth. So when you see the youth kind of atrocity, they kept, captivating, talking about the youth, but it's not our fault. As I'm talking to you now, I'm not getting my BBC. I've been here over the time for more than 3, 4, 5 times. They keep telling me they don't have it, they don't have it, they don't have it. If I should every heart, then we say, look at the youth. Look at the youth. They come to say on the quotation in the Bible that the right for the time of John the Baptist for the day, the kingdom of God, and the right quotation was false. So the youth are not happy. The good coming government should do something for the youth, my people.
All right.
We are not happy. We are disappointed. The government has laid the youth. I've traveled up to 3, 4 countries in this world, and I've known what the youth are enjoying in those countries. It's not all richer than Nigeria. Nigeria is a rich country. But what are the provisions for us to benefit from this region? Please, thank you very much.
Thank you, Misha.
Thank you for calling.
Please, we'll just keep appealing. Let's keep our peace, and that's a Bible verse you quoted. Please don't
Please
apply
don't
it
be
here.
violent.
But you see,
Please don't apply it here, please.
I always...
Like he just said, I think now.
Sorry, I think
Let's
there's
take this
another
call.
caller. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Who's speaking, please? All right, please go ahead.
What I just know is we don't need to know the position of the government. I think it's a collective responsibility of both government and various families, our parents involved. So I think if someone does not have the immediate ability to commit violence in the family and outside, politicians and many other persons can approach such persons to ask them to commit election violence. I think it's a collective effort, not on the part of the government. And I've been watching the program and I say, blaming the government, not just the government.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
Well, you heard him there.
I
It's
heard
a
it.
collective responsibility, not just the government. And like I said earlier on, that I mean, you've gone to school, you've been trained, some level of
Decorum. Yeah.
integrity,
Be expected.
is
from
expected of any youth. So despite whatever situation we're going through, youth should be the people saying, no,
Yeah.
we have a future, we have a hope, we shouldn't lose it all. So one last word from you, comrade. Maybe you want to advise youth there on the need for them to stay out of trouble.
Well, before I come into conclusion, I think my first advice should go to the government.
No, don't advise government yet. We'll come to that.
Okay.
We'll talk to the youth now. You've had enough stint on the government.
Okay, fine. You see, the youth generally, I would like to advise them to keep calm, to not see the minds of violence.
Is it from your mind?
From my mind.
Okay.
Because most times we've been to some places hearing people fighting. You go to some street in this Lagos and across the country, you hear the youth everything. It's just like giving a dog a bad name, because the youth over time have been given bad names, which is not supposed. there is nobody that is saying that will be encouraging violence of any kind. But when realities are on ground, we need to address those issues. So you generally do not want going into violence, but when the situation provides such for them, it becomes inevitable for such people to go into violence.
Why are you justifying again that?
No, you see, why I need to justify it? I'm just trying to speak the mind of the people, because I don't like lying to people. I like speaking the mind.
We're not from the moon. We live in this environment.
Yes.
We know what is on ground.
It's affecting everyone.
It's affecting everyone, and we either we like it or not, we are in it together. So what we should be doing is to allay the fear of the youth,
for instance,
and let them know that there is hope, there is future. This is just a phase. I think it's just a phase in the country which will pass away. We won't continue to pray that there won't be jobs,
the election
there
will
be poverty, elections will come and go.
Yeah.
What becomes the life of the youth after the elections?
Even before elections, for instance, when people come and go, the youth themselves are not reasoning the way we are reasoning here. Because it is you and I here. Most of you people are married, man. I'm not married, of course. So many of those youth that you see in the street, how many of them have houses? How many of them?
And that's why they should think for the best. That's why they should hope for the best.
Okay, fine. Like I said before, most of them going into violence are doing that for a quid pro quo. That is, going into or doing such things to collect a fee for such.
Money.
It is not as if they like doing that. For instance, you have some people going into kidnapping and armed robbery. It's not because most of those people like those things, but it's sometimes someone is just looking for somewhere to go into, and that is why.
Factor, we really have to go on the show. Thank you very much, Comrade Hussein Momodu, for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much.
And please always keep it in mind that this is not the end. The future is bright for the youths. They have a future, and this shouldn't be the end of it. My name is Jumoke, so I'll be back again tomorrow, next to God willing, on Monday 2015. From me, goodbye, and from Jummy.
Yeah, have a wonderful evening, and join us again tomorrow for another edition. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.